So what we saw was a lot of 7 and 8 men in the box, which is why you saw wide receivers running against free. A lot of them were one-on-one, or they had to play like a 3 or 4 man zone behind them when we have 3 receivers. So this one was, I felt like the offensive line did play well. It was just not meant that we were going to be able to run the ball against the team.
How quickly does that become evident, or did you anticipate that going?
I don't think we actually anticipated it. Like we prepared for someone to take away one element of offense, but I think we were more leaning towards trying to take away the pass with the sun starting instead of them being so heavy in the run base. Because we want to be balanced as much as possible, but usually we'll lean a little bit towards the pass game. So after about a half or so, we looked in. I actually went in and talked to some of the receivers, talked to Humphreys, and he was like, "Yeah, they're getting a lot of one high, which means they're rolling the safety down in the box, which gives them another half for us." So after a while, in the second half, we went back to the pass, and once we went back to the pass a little bit, they had to open it up a little bit.
Because obviously you're not in a position to see that, but you couldn't feel it. You don't feel that kind of thing. You actually have to have someone to.
I mean, we can feel it. As a player, like you kind of get the gist. Like I can feel when the offensive line as a whole is pretty doing well and stuff, but maybe not like watching it from the sideline. You might not be able to tell, like, hey, our receivers are in very good matchups for them, and we're not exactly matched up around the ball well in this case scenario. So we had to come in at halftime and make adjustments on of it.
So would you expect to continue to see some of that, though, given that Deshaun is a freshman?
We'll be give and take. Some teams will fear him more as a passer, some teams will fear him more as a runner. Every coach has their own philosophy, so every defense essentially wants to take one or the other away, and that will be your stronger one, and they want to force you to beat you with what they consider your weaker side.
There were a couple of times in the ESPN broadcast where the announcing team suggested, well, Clemson's offensive line is lacking a mean streak, they're not road pavers, they're average. A, did you go back and watch that? B, what would the reaction be to it when you hear it?
I mean, I've watched film, but I haven't watched any film commentary. Of course, the only commentary we have are what the coaches feel. So, I mean, they're brutally honest with what they want from us. So, whatever they say that's pretty much how it goes. And what really matters is what the coaches feel, because they're the ones deciding who's going to play and what's going to happen from week to week.
Can the line be a little nastier? I mean, is that something that needs to be worked on?
I would tell you have to ask coaches, because if you go back and watch the film, you'll see plenty of stuff to make you smile about it. So I think you would have to go back and watch the film yourself. It's hard to tell from a play-by-play basis where you're just watching it go. Like you're watching us run the ball against a bare front, which means they have 5 D linemen, and they have one safety, or they're rolling down a safety and they have a linebacker in the box. So you're seeing 5 D linemen, a linebacker, and a safety coming against a running. It's not exactly going to be a pretty run, to say the least. So it's just really how you watch the game.
There are a few teams who can run the ball when you know they're going to run, and I guess that's kind of what you strive for as a unit. Has there been a time when you felt you could do that?
I mean, I definitely feel like if you look at our team, like essentially in this, what you're talking about is run the ball when you want to. It would be when you're trying to put the game away, and I felt like we did a good job of doing that last game. Because we had those last 2 drives, and you knew, like, hey, we need to go down here and score, and we need to run clock. I know the second to last drive was like 6 minutes, and we moved the ball effectively doing what we need to do. It was some good, some bad, but all in all, we got done what we needed to do.
When you look at NC State, have you looked at any NC State film yet?
I watched some of it this morning.
What was Florida State able to do against their defense, and especially their defensive line?
Well, their defensive line is really good compared to some of the other schools we faced. Their interior is really good. They got a lot of the guys actually came back that was there. They have a rotation now, which is something I didn't feel like they had as much last year. This year we're seeing a lot more of 94, who's the backup 69. 75 is there, he's in the rotation. And I've always considered him a really good player. And their ends are definitely a top up. You know, I'm all playing tackle now. It's kind of weird. I have to study everyone now because I have to play guard and tackle in all the games so far, except for Georgia. So it's really, their front four is very formidable. Florida State do a lot of shipping with their tight end and their running backs. I saw for their ends, because their ends are very pass rush heavy. So we got to see what the game plan is. We're going to go back into it more today.
Do they do anything exotic with their linebackers?
I haven't seen much. Their linebackers are kind of similar to ours, where they're not overly big, but they run really well. They can stretch the field. They like to make you run lateral, side to side, to set up downhill, which is of course whatever the defense wants. So it'll be interesting. You know, our coach has a game plan. We'll be ready to go by the weekend.
Did you watch any film or any repeat of the game where you can get a sense of Deshaun's effectiveness and how he played, and what were some of your impressions?
I mean, what we got was basically what we got from practice. He's been really calm and collected definitely for a freshman. I think a lot of people have underestimated that. This is especially with they wanted to bring the blitz a lot the past weekend. It's not very often you're going to see a freshman that's willing to move and keep his eyes downfield without really tucking it, even though he has the ability to run. He's barely pass heavy. He wants to pass the ball first, but he can run when he needs to. We have design plays for him to run. So I think just for a freshman, he's way along where he should be.
When he first got here, and it was evident that he was going to have some time on the field this year, was there a point when you kind of loved that you went, yeah, this kid's going to be all right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely I think the injury set him back that he suffered early in his career, but definitely from the points he had, especially when he first got here, you didn't have a lot of classes. You're a freshman, you're taking gen eds, it's not terrible. So he had a lot of time to think about football, and you could just tell from his footwork, the way he acted on the field, and the way he wanted to present himself, that he was going to be a good player.